What is up, and welcome back to Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers. As always, I am your host, Brandon Silvers. All right, there are leaves on the ground. The temperature has a slight chill to it, as much as global warming will allow. And there's pumpkin spice on the menu, which means it is fall, and fall means playoff baseball. So we got to talk about that and also look back at the season that was. And what better person to have talk about that with me than Brett Gosnell? Brett, what is going on?
How are we doing? Very, very excited for this.
Yes, because not only are we going to talk about baseball, but we're debuting a new game on Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers, Fair or Foul. You know it's important because I'm holding note cards.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So, Brett, are you ready to play in the first ever Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers game of Fair or Foul?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so first, the rules. I will give you a subject, a statement. Some might call it, if they were an English teacher. I will say fair or foul. If you agree with the statement, you will say fair and you will tell us why. If you do not agree, you will say foul and tell us why you don't agree. Then, as the segment winds down, I will ask you if the bases are clear. That means, have you gotten everything off your chest?
Okay, I like it.
That's something I just made up because I'm a sports media genius. So let's get into it. Fair or foul? Ronald Acuña Jr. of the Atlanta Braves is the 2023 National League Most Valuable Player.
Foul.
Spicy.
It's Mookie Betts. So they play the same position. Mookie plays it a lot better. And Mookie plays shortstop and second base extremely well. So the defense, he's light years ahead of Acuña. Their offensive numbers are about identical, except for average. Acuña is a decent bit ahead on average. And stolen bases, Acuña is obviously way ahead. But overall, on base and slugging, they're like virtually identical. And then, like I said, with the humongous defensive advantage that Mookie has, to me, that makes him the MVP.
So that is very, very spicy, I feel, because baseball loves statistical anomalies and stuff like that.
Yep.
And Acuña, the first 40-40 guy, obviously, to give you an idea of how good his season is, the most stolen bases in a 40 home run season before this year, where he's got 70, was 46 in 1998.
Yeah.
Do you know who got that?
98.
Yep.
Griffey? No, he didn't steal that many bags.
Centaur painting.
Oh, A-Rod.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know he stole that many bags either.
Yeah, I was, well, with the horse lower half, he had no choice. But yeah, so baseball loves stats, and Acuña, he's doing something for the first time ever. It reminds me a little bit of the Miguel Cabrera Triple Crown year, and the discussion was between him and Mike Trout for the AL MVP, and where Trout may have been more valuable.
Right.
He went to Cabrera because he had the cool, shiny first Triple Crown in forever.
You're hitting it on the money, and you're using much better words than I would have used to describe it. So it's like, since you've got the NBA shirt on, like, what if a dude averaged a 25-25 double-double, like some weird shit like that? But like another player was better because he played better defense, got more steal. I don't know. Just like his overall body of work was better. They'd give it to the dude with the crazy, never before seen statistic, right?
I have a real life thing. So Russell Westbrook, the triple double year, won it.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought James Harden should have won it. Now both players trash. But
Yeah.
but that happened. And yeah, you would give it to, because it's easier to justify. Because that's what the average fan is looking at, not only just like the box scores, the stats, but the offensive stats as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I'm doing. So it is a little shocking, but you're right about how close they are offensively. Acuña, I think he's got an 8.2 WAR, Betts 8.3, OPS plus, Acuña 168, Betts 166. It's like splitting hairs on that end outside of stolen bases and batting average, like you said. With Mookie, and you mentioned his defensive versatility, has there ever been anybody who's been able to play those different positions that well?
No, I don't. Not that I know of. That's insane. Like, he's a right fielder, one of the best right fielders in baseball. Like, even if he only played right field this year, it would still be a discussion because he's that much better at right field than Acuña is. But Dodgers before the season, starting shortstop, Gavin Lux gets hurt. Mookie comes in and plays shortstop, and not just like passably well. He plays it very well. And then he plays second base a lot, which through the minors, he played second base. So he's kind of coming back home there and just playing it at an elite level. I don't know what the actual like defensive metrics and numbers say about him, but my eyeballs tell me he's fantastic at playing either position. Like, that's mind blowing, because those are the two hardest, most valuable defensive positions to play, second base and shortstop, aside from catcher. And he's out there playing it at an elite level. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I mean, so he's the MVP to me. But yeah, I think they're going to give it to Acuña just because of the eye-popping 40-70. But
and isn't it weird? I know we were talking about probably the top 4 MVP candidates in the National League are either from the Dodgers or the Braves.
Yeah, that was – thank you for bringing that up. So that was in the middle of the year, like June or so. Acuña was clearly going to be the MVP. Freddie Freeman, former Braves first baseman, now Dodgers first baseman, he was the one that had identical numbers with Acuña, aside from the stolen bases, obviously. Offensively, they were like identical. And then it was like, okay, give it to Acuña because he plays first base is the easiest position to play, so let's give it to the right fielder. And then Mookie has the greatest month of August of all time and jumps up into the MVP discussion. And then the whole time, the Braves first baseman, who the Braves traded for when they let Freeman walk to the Dodgers, Matt Olson, he's hitting 50-plus home runs. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's the MVP race is the Dodgers. Well, it's only a race between Mookie and Acuña, really, but Braves right fielder, Braves first baseman, Dodgers right fielder, Dodgers first baseman. And then the first baseman, like I said, have the history with one another.
Yeah, Olsen, incredible. Broke your favorite Andrew Jones team record for home runs by a Brave in a season.
Good.
But
so his thing was he's always hit a ton of home runs, but like his first year with Atlanta, he hit a ton of home runs and batted .220. This year, he's got the average up to something very respectable, like 260 or 270. So he's just having a phenomenal season, and nobody even notices it because Acuña is so good.
He's at 281.
Wow. Oh, my God. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did want to ask you, too, with baseball being so numbers-oriented, and by the way, as a Dodgers fan, and I love Mookie, I clearly have some bias there. I want Mookie to win. I don't have a huge problem with Acuña winning either because I love Acuña, too. And, like, what an exciting guy to watch. I mean, he does everything I love about baseball all at once. Yep. Big chain, 40 home runs, 70 stolen bases. Awesome.
I honestly want Acuna to win it because we're going to probably face the Braves in the playoffs. I'm going to be going to at least one, maybe two of those playoff games. If Mookie wins the MVP, they're going to be so mad. These Braves fans are going to be so butthurt. They're not going to be nearly as friendly to me as they usually are when I show up in my Dodgers gear. So, and that'll be a whole Kirby Smart bulletin board material bullshit thing. If Mookie, they give it to the Hollywood guy, they don't care about us in the South, all yada yada yada. Just give it to Acuna, and then let us win in October.
Yeah. So with the MVP award in baseball, and baseball being so number centric, like how much does the fact that the Braves have a better team record impact that, especially considering like one guy on a baseball team can only affect you winning so much? Or how's that worked out in the past? I know, like, didn't A-Rod have the 1 year where he won it and Texas was terrible?
Yeah. And I remember there was a deal with Ryan Howard with the Phillies too. There was a lot of debate about, can you be the most valuable player if your team doesn't accomplish anything? Because like, what was the value? Like between Acuna and Mookie, it doesn't matter. Like this isn't a discussion because both teams are very good. But yeah, like I feel like with how analytics and stats have become even more part of the game, I don't know that people think about it that much. Because like Trout's won the MVP, and their Angels are never any good. But yeah, I mean, it does beg the question, if your team's not at least making, it's kind of like the Heisman in college football. They only give it if the guy's the best player in college football and his team only wins 2 games, they're not giving him the Heisman.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that used to be a big part of it, and now it's probably become less so. But it just so happens that all the best players are on the best teams, thankfully.
Yes. And then you touched on this a little bit earlier too, and I have a feeling I know your answer, but I have seen some talk about Acuña's season being tainted because of the new rules. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, shit.
Because the bases are at least 4.5 inches bigger, and it makes it easier for him to reach the base.
I don't know. I mean, you can always go back. Like you could say, well, in the previous era, they stole more bases.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's operating under the same rules everybody is. I mean,
and to me, like, who else is doing it if it's so easy?
Right. Yeah. I mean, Mookie stole like 15 bases this year or something like that. Yeah. I mean, so not everybody. Now, Freddie Freeman has went from like 2 stolen bases to like 15 or something. So I guess he's jumped up too. But like, yeah, not everybody is taking advantage of this.
No. So I agree. Like, it is what it is. I don't think it really taints anything. I think that
hell no.
People being haters. All right. Are the bases clear on this one?
Bases are clear. Mookie Betts MVP.
Perfect.